Welcome back to Simply Maha, and today we are making a frittata. This is not just any frittata, okay? It has potatoes and 3 types of cheese. This is my potato 3 cheese fritatiana. Okay, let's go. Okay, so you will need 7 eggs, salt, 1/4 of a cup of olive oil, 3 green onions that I've separated the greens and the whites. You're gonna need a 1/2 bell pepper, paprika, black pepper, oregano, and I have about 1 pound of potatoes. What I did with my potatoes is I put them in a pot with cold water, brought them up to a boil and let them boil for 5 minutes. And after letting them cool completely, I've just diced them into bite-sized pieces. So doing this will just speed up the cooking process once they're in the pan. So now they're just about, I would say, 45% cooked through. So I've had my oil heating up and it's pretty hot right now. I've just added the potatoes and now I'm gonna add my bell peppers, and I'm using red because I want to add a bit of sweetness. And now I'm adding the onions. These are the white parts, and now I'm just gonna mix them until the potatoes have gotten really nicely browned. So now we're just gonna introduce our first cheese to our fritatiana in the form of Parmesan, and then we're gonna add some salt and pepper and then just whisk that until it's combined well. And now you want to keep in mind that Parmesan is a pretty salty cheese, so you want to take that into consideration when you are salting your eggs. And you know, I didn't really measure out the Parmesan that I used. I don't really measure out the cheese when I'm using it. I don't think you should either. You just want to put enough Parmesan until you think that it's way too much, and then add a couple more ounces. And then that's how you know that's enough. So now that my potatoes have good color on them, I'm gonna add my seasonings as well as a good pinch of salt. I don't really measure my salt, I just like to play it by eye. That's how I feel comfortable. And then I started mixing it. Open up. Open you up like a Pokeball. Open up. Tell you out. Okay, so now it's time to add the eggs, and if you used a non-stick pan and you had, a good amount of oil on there, you really shouldn't worry about the eggs sticking. But I just have a phobia of things sticking to my pan, so I just moved the potatoes over to one side and then sprayed some non-stick spray, as you can see, and then I moved them to the other side and sprayed that half of the pan. Okay, I'm sorry, but I had so many pans thrown away just because I didn't want to have to deal with the hassle of actually scraping the food off of there. That's how lazy I am. So I'd rather just, guarantee that my baby comes out smooth. Okay? And then we're gonna add our eggs and then just spend a couple of moments, moving the potatoes around, getting the eggs a little bit set, and then kind of shake the pan so you can have an even distribution of your potatoes, like you see me do here. And then kind of just take your spatula, smear it around a little bit, have just an even distribution. If one side of the pan doesn't have enough eggs, just tilt it, move it around, do what you gotta do, and then cover it, lower it to medium heat, and let it cook through until the eggs are done. And make sure you do not overcook these, okay? If you overcook your eggs, they will be super rubbery, okay? Because don't forget, we're also gonna top these with some cheddar and then broil them. Speaking of which, I have about 1 cup of sharp cheddar over here that I'm just gonna sprinkle evenly towards the center. I kind of want to leave the borders untouched because I want you to see that there's potatoes and there's eggs. So kind of just have it, in the center and have it evenly distributed. And then you want to put this under your broiler on your bottom rack, because remember, we still have a little bit of runny eggs on top. So have it under your broiler on your bottom rack until the cheese melts and it's golden brown and delicious. And if your skillet is not heat proof, you want to make sure that you wrap the what's that called? Is that a handle? Yeah, if you want to wrap the handle of your skillet with some aluminum foil just so it doesn't melt. Okay, this is it out of the oven. You can see it's sizzling. You have that boiling, melty, gooey cheese, and I want you guys to hear how crispy it is. I am so excited for you guys to try it. You have to let this cool for about 5 minutes until you slide it out of the pan, and then I'll show you our third cheese component to our fritatiana. And can y'all tell I was having way too much fun with this fork testing thing? Okay, so I'm just gonna slide my frittata right out of that skillet, and I love how just easy that was. That just slid off like butter, just how I like it. And now I'm just gonna cut into it, and I used a serrated knife, and I just cut it, you know, how you would a pizza. And I love how also it's not eggy. It's not eggy at all. It's mostly potatoes, as you can see right now. Look at how fluffy those potatoes are. And then you get that bite of sweetness from the bell pepper, and then you have that crust that was formed from the cheddar cheese and the nuttiness in the eggs from that Parmesan that we use. So it really is, you know, like the most delicious frittata I've ever tasted. You can see it has a nice golden crust at the bottom as well. And I'm gonna eat it now. Okay, so now I'm just topping it off with the bottom portion of my green onion. You can use chives if you want. And for the third cheese, I'm actually gonna use feta. And I love using feta just because it's like a nice cut. You know, I have paprika on the eggs. The cheddar is a really, you know, dense cheese. So I just feel like the feta is just a nice combination because it's tart. It really cuts through the richness. And yeah, this is my potato 3-cheese fritatiana, and I really hope you enjoyed this. And it's super easy, as you could see. There's not a lot of ingredients, but it really is such a show-stopping breakfast, or a brunch if you would. So I really hope you guys enjoyed watching this recipe. If you did, please like it, give me a follow, subscribe to my YouTube channel, you know the drill. And I'll see you next time here on Simply Maha. Bye bye.